Hey everyone, welcome back. So yesterday we obviously had a bloodbath in the crypto market. Today we're going to look into see what actually happened, why it happened, and maybe learn something from this. We're going to look over an interview that Mike Novogratz did on Bloomberg. We're going to look at some data on the blockchain, and then we're going to look at some tweets from PlanB, 2 tweets from him, and then we're going to talk about an article who was selling from Cointelegraph. So why don't we get into the charts here, see where where everything is at right now, and we'll kind of digest everything as we go through. So we'll try to make this a little bit quick today, all right? So here's the charts. So right now we're looking at Bitcoin. Obviously Bitcoin fell yesterday massively. It had almost, $10,000 drop in price within several hours. And then obviously bounced back to this lower support that we had here at 47,000 roughly. And it's trying to get back above it today now, if you look at it. So here's our support line at 47,000 roughly, and we're trying to get above it. We obviously closed below it a little bit yesterday, but we're trying to get back above it right now. The good thing is, if we look at it really quick here, is the RSI is at 4780. The last time we were at this level was down here on July 22nd, and we had a price of $32,310. So, I mean, we have a $14,000 increase in value with the same RSI on the daily chart. So that makes me think this is good news. Actually, this is a good thing that this happened. We had a nice little pullback. We got fresh feet underneath us. We can run a lot higher going forward. At least that's the way I see things right now. If we look at next is Ethereum. So Ethereum is trading at 3,492 roughly. We obviously had a crash as well. We crashed from 39.57 to all the way to almost 3,000 here. It's almost $1,000 crash in a couple hours. We bounced back up above it, and we closed the day just below the 20-day moving average. So we're still above our prior resistance, which is here at $3,300, and which is a good sign. If we're above that, I think we can go forward. Obviously, it's in the green today now. It's obviously trending up, so that's a good thing. So we'll have to keep an eye on it as well. Cardano obviously fell like everything else. It fell almost, 287 down to almost $2, so 87 cents it fell within a couple hours. RSI has obviously dropped back down. So the last time we were at 47, we were right around here, which was a price of $1.23. So obviously we've had a huge run up in the price, almost $1.70. $1.80 roughly in the last couple weeks. This is good as well. It's obviously below the 20-day moving average, but above the 50-day moving average, which we're okay. We bounced off of it here. We hit it today as well and bounced up above it, so that's a good sign. Litecoin is up actually a little bit today. It's up 2.5% roughly. So it fell as well. It bounced off of the 200-day moving average, and it's above now the 50-day moving average. And we'll see, it's been battling with the 20-day average, so we'll see if it can pull that off today. Dogecoin felt like everything else. I mean, Doge had a huge drop yesterday. It bounced back up. It's up a little bit. It's 1.37% up today. It's at 25.89. If you bought any of the dips on these, congrats to you guys. I only bought the $30 worth of Bitcoin in support of El Salvador. So that's all I did yesterday. Let me see here. What else can I tell you about this one? I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, obviously the RSI is down to 43. Last time we were at this level, we were down here, which was 20 cents. So we've gone a ways up for it. Again, I think this gives us more legs to run. Stellar, same thing, bounced off of it. It's now battling with the, the 20-day, 50-day, and then the 200-day. They're all really close to each other. So if it can get above the 50-day, and the 200-day will probably continue going back up higher, but we may see a little pullback on that one. Solana has pulled back as well. Obviously, the RSI doesn't really show it that well, but it has pulled back. It reached a high yesterday of almost $200 at 190. What was it? The high doesn't show the total range, but it was roughly $195. It's down to 172. We went all the way down to $124. So quite a huge decrease in value as well. Everything in the crypto space right now is tanking. If we look at the stocks here, the mining stocks, So Hive is actually up a little bit today. It obviously went down with everything else. It's at 33.32. Marathon is at 38.10. Oh, you have some Hive news coming up. I'll do a video later on today about the reported production updates and things like that. So that'll come out. Mara is up also. Well, it's actually down 3.3%. It's at 38.09. Bitfarms is at what is it, $6 right now. It's up 1.5%. Riot is down 3.89% at 30.86, and Hut 8 is at $10.51, up 4.68%. And then we also have Coinbase. Coinbase is down because there's some. The SEC said they might file a lawsuit if it goes with its planned lend feature for customers. Let's look at the market cap here really quick. There we go. Okay, so market cap now is at $2.182 trillion. It's up in the last 24 hours of 0.5%. Bitcoin obviously was still red. Ethereum is red, number 2. Cardano is red. Tether obviously is steady. Binance Coin is obviously down. XRP is down to 111. Solana is down to 172. So it's kind of picking back up. Polkadot is down, and so is Dogecoin. So we're seeing that obviously we've shed some. We're slowly regaining, I think. Excuse me. So let's get into the first video here with Mike Novogratz talking about the crash yesterday. I thought this was pretty interesting, so let's get into it here. See if we can turn this down. Maybe it might be a little too loud.
The dip. So what are you buying and how much of it?
Well, listen, I think there's been a big sell-off today. I think we always have to remember that crypto is still a retail-dominated ecosystem, right? We've got institutions that are moving in by the day, and that's creating a lot of excitement. But there's lots of retail money. A lot of it's leveraged. There was about $4 billion of liquidations that happened in a short period of time this morning, right? That's mostly leveraged offshore in places like FTX and Binance. And the market got too long. It got long for good reasons, right? I think in the last 8 weeks, there has been a giant realization that crypto is not just Bitcoin being bought as a hedge against bad monetary and fiscal policy, but maybe more importantly, it's Web 3.0. It's the Internet of Value Transfer. And when you see companies like Visa buying an NFT and saying they think digital goods is a big part of their future, Walmart and Amazon, the 2 biggest retailers in the world, putting up help wanted signs for crypto engineers and for crypto experts, there's a realization that this is a technology play. And no investor wants to miss the next internet. This is the next internet. And so there was a lot of great price movement, right? We went from 29,000 to 53,000 in Bitcoin, and from whatever 1,800 all the way to 4,000 in Ethereum. Solana, a new level 1 for most institutions, has burst onto the scene. And so I think we just got too excited, and this was a little air being popped out of the balloon.
All right, Mike.
So there you have it. So there's Mike Novogratz talking about it. Obviously, I agree with what he's saying here. We got a little bit overexcited. We had too much leverage going into it, too much optimism into the market, and we'll take a look at it here now. So this is the BTC liquidations chart from, this is from the block crypto. You can find it on their website as well. So yesterday, you could see that we got 1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin liquidated for longs. So a lot of people were over leveraged. A lot of people were a little overhyped on Bitcoin and where it's going to go. And they just got destroyed. They got wrecked, unfortunately. So that is the main reason why it happened. So you had a lot of people buying on options and futures and things like that. And then as price started to fall down, everything started to close positions, right? People were over leveraged. And it just basically like a cascade effect, a waterfall effect. Everything just kind of fell down with it. But the good thing is obviously that people that were long-term hodlers were actually buying the dip. And we'll talk about that right now. So PlanB, and we'll zoom in on this for you guys. So PlanB actually tweeted 21 hours ago, 43K check, and there's a reason for this. In an earlier tweet that he did on, when did he do this? It doesn't say when did he do this. Let me see, that was in August 31st, it looks like. He posted this. Will August indeed close at 47? Fingers crossed. By the way, these are worst case scenarios, floor estimates. So do not worry about September less than or greater than 43K. My base case prediction is based on stock to flow 100K. I use the floor stuff for options. So he tweeted yesterday, 43,000 checkmark Riker went down to 43,000, almost kind of like clockwork for him, I guess. I guess you could call him the oracle of Bitcoin. And then he tweeted as well, funny to see all the sell news traders handing over their Bitcoin to El Salvadoran hodlers around the world. Make sure you transfer your BTCs out of the exchanges and into your own wallets. So this is exactly what happened. People obviously were over leveraged, things crashed, people lost a lot of money possibly, and then those that are hodling and just investing over the long term got in on a dip. So here's a tweet, and then here's an article from Cointelegraph. Who was selling, not hodlers. New data hints at Bitcoin crash culprit amid leverage wipeout. So a classic dichotomy between hodlers and leverage traders sets this week's Bitcoin price dip apart from coronavirus crash of March 2020. If you remember, a year and a half ago almost, we had that crash where Bitcoin went down really low. Bitcoin crashed by $9,000 in hours on Tuesday thanks to a mass unwinding of leveraged traders and borrowers, one analyst believes. In a series of tweets on Wednesday, Willy Woo sought to get to the bottom of what made BTC USD dive to lows of 42,800 on Tuesday. Woo, Bitcoin margin, borrowers, and open interest may be to blame. With rumors flying over who was behind Bitcoin's major price dip, analysts have been crunching data in order to understand where the rut began. Analogies to the March 2020 crash sparked by coronavirus measures abound, but Tuesday's events showed major differences, Woo said. Here's a tweet from him. Leverage markets sold off, but investors buying just got stronger, he summarized. BTC flash crashes are caused by deleveraging. The COVID crash was similar in that derivatives overreacted, but back then it was supported by investors. This one was completely divergent and a mystery, cheap coins. Wu subsequently suspected that the dip came as a result of margin borrowing, right, which is what we're talking about here, and open interest, just being over-leveraged. In a classic domino effect, positions unbound to produce a cascade of liquidations and positive feedback loop, which severely impacted spot price, right? So we saw that within hours. I mean, things went down almost $10,000. So here's Willy Woo's tweet. I think I may have found the culprit, even though open interest was crazy high. Spot margin borrowing was also peaking leading up to the crash. Both markets combined created enough deleveraging power to flush price. Margin longs on spot markets unwound as much as derivatives. Here's another tweet from him. Day opened with equities risk off, some sell down of BTC, medium levels of fundamentals inflowing selling, then stop, hunt, liquidity collapse, 1.1 billion of BTC liquidations, overall unsupported by investors' fundamentals on chain. So what he's saying there is that by overall investors, the ones that are hodling and long-term investors, those guys were actually buying it. They weren't selling it as well. So there's the divergence that we had from 2020. Exchanges are now in outflows. People are buying, right? And then he just typed in here, typo, open interest was not crazy high. It was within normal bounds. So healthy cleansing, is this what we were seeing as a healthy cleanse? While the processes involved may be complicated for the average observer, the strength of Bitcoin's rebound and ongoing investors' buy-ins suggest that cold feet among hodlers were not involved in the event. So that's kind of what we're talking about here, right? You know, long-term investors, hodlers, were not the ones getting the cold feet and selling out. It was people that were just way too over-optimistic in this case, it looks like. According to on-chain monitoring resources WhaleWamp, large volume investors who were newcomers to the market provided the vast majority of the sell side pressure. So yesterday we had a sell-off, and the move was quite violent, and large volumes of Bitcoin were being sold off on spot markets. Researchers tweeted alongside a chart showing where those parties had acquired BTC. But who was selling? Not hodlers, mostly whales, right? We're saying mostly whales, and in fact, the ones that bought their BTC only quite recently. So here's who's selling volume, right, was coming from. So it's coming from these levels, the 40,000 mark and closer to the 50,000 mark. Those guys were selling. So those guys were obviously over-leveraged, I think, being too optimistic in the forecast of Bitcoin. And obviously once something started selling, it was also the catalyst with the El Salvador using Bitcoin as a currency now. So that, I think, was buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So people started selling on that news. For fellow analyst William Clement, meanwhile, Tuesday provided a welcome rest of frothy derivatives market. So a reset of frothy derivatives markets, right? So investors' activity strengthening, leverage speculators wiped, equals healthy cleansing, he concluded alongside Wu's findings. And that is exactly kind of what I'm seeing as well, what I'm thinking that happened. There was just too much of the market being over-leveraged, too much over-optimism, I think. People got a little too optimistic as far as where the Bitcoin price is going to go. They took on too much leverage, and then everything just started falling down once people started selling and things like that. So I do think this is actually healthy. This will obviously help Bitcoin have a longer run up, I think, in the next coming months. The RSI is way down, so I think this is good news. So if you're hodling, congrats to you. If you bought more, all the better for you guys. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. Obviously, this is good news. I don't think this is as bad as we first thought it was going to be. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys like these kind of videos where I try to keep you guys informed as far as what's going on, please do subscribe. It does help me out a lot. Hit the like button as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.